Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, the franchise player, Double B Bad Blood, joining you once again on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast, brought to you by BodySlam.net, with a special interview. The man right here to my right needs no introduction, but I'm going to go ahead and give him one anyway. The man is known as Notorious ICE, the smoothest voice in all the Ring of Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Caprice Coleman, welcome to the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. As you can see, I'm trying to get in the center of this thing.
Oh, no, you are all good, man. You're all
All
good.
right.
So let's jump right into it, man. You've been around for a long time. I mean, man, I ain't gonna throw no dates out there, but I
Hey, you can throw it
remember
out there. I ain't ashamed. I'm happy, bro.
1997,
Yeah,
1997, Omega.
yeah.
Man, look, ladies and gentlemen, this is the one man I can truly say, not like that dude who just got caught at AEW the other day. This man right here was actually trained by Matt and Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Um, been around for a long time, did a lot of stuff with the NWA. I'm an NWA guy myself, as you can see with the belts behind me. I've earned every last one of them. Um, I'm an NWA guy, 1,010%, and I see that you've been through since 1997 all the way up until wow, just a couple days ago, you've been involved in all facets of wrestling. If it wasn't as a wrestler, a commentator, manager, whatever, whatnot, you've pretty much done it all. So let us talk about the beginnings, the humble beginnings of Mr. Caprice Coleman, the notorious ICE. Look at you. Um, tell us about the first days of Caprice Coleman, man, and Omega, getting
Yeah.
trained by the Hardys.
Okay. All right. When I got out of high school, I saw a sign like pro wrestling going to be like I think it was at the Armory or something like that, and a guy was putting up the posters, and I said, "Hey," I said, "I want to be on the show."
Just like that. Like, hey man, I'm gonna be on that show.
Yeah, I want to wrestle. I mean, I wrestled all the way through high school. I thought it was kind of like a tough man type thing, you know.
Uh,
Uh, and he was like, "Oh, you got to get trained." I said, "I am trained. I wrestled all the way through high school. Like, I'm trained." He was like, "No, you gotta get trained how to be a pro wrestler." Now I grew up watching wrestling since I was young, but I just thought uh, I would be able to walk right on. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So then he told me to meet him there to practice. It was this guy named Commando at the time. He was wrestling in Commando. Uh, Never saw him at practice. But where the practice was Tracy Tracy's house, which is Trevor Lee's dad,
Mm-hmm.
and Matt and Jeff were there, and started training. I couldn't take a bump. It's actually in their book, the Hardys book they wrote about how I couldn't take a bump until my dad like put some ice chips in my hand or something.
Is that where the name Notorious Ice came from?
Yeah, so I kind of was going with ice, but that was it. They was like, did this really just happen? Like, but like I promise you, I took the bump then. And then I became their referee. Like I couldn't afford like pro wrestling training, and I was very small. And so I said, hey man, I'll referee for free, man, if y'all train me, you know. And so they taught me how to be a referee, and I would go travel with them, referee, and I referee on the. Uh, at that time, it was like NFWA, a New Frontier Wrestling Alliance,
Mm-hmm.
and then one day Matt had a dream, came to practice, and he was like excited about this dream he had about Omega, and like it was no like it was no question. This wasn't a meeting. You know what I'm saying? This was a statement of like things that would change and things were like that was gonna happen. It was already like all mapped up in his head and took off from there.
once he once he uh once he had an idea, it was just like all steam, all roads led to that idea.
Yeah,
Apparently,
he knew without a doubt like that's what he wanted to do.
now, you've done a lot of things, man. You've gone from like the NWA, and I know you've done some stints in the WWE. Um, let's talk about the WWE then, as opposed to the WWE now, because
Okay.
I know you did some like Sunday Night Heat stuff and just some Velocity stuff. And was this all like extra work? Was this all like enhancement work?
Pretty much, yeah. I would be brought in if they were in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, um, Georgia, any surrounding areas. I was brought in pretty regularly, and
Nice.
it was pretty cool, man. A lot of times it got to a point where I was requested to be worked, so I thought that was good. I always thought something would happen, but like the change ups would happen, and at that time there's a feeling where there's only a few, they only need a few of us anyway, you
Yeah.
know, uh, and so it's just never happened. Um, there was a time I was like brought in a room to kind of talk about some stuff and all. Some ideas pitched my way type thing, but they were all like very stereotypical. You know what I mean? Uh, but then like it's just it was that time. But I think now when you look at pro wrestling, man, everybody's there. If you're good, you can be there, man. You can make it. It's you just have to work. Um, it looks like a totally different atmosphere. It's some of everybody diversity. I think diversity
Yeah.
is the most powerful thing. It's a place that you can really look at and be like, if you work hard or whatever, you can really do that. You can do it. They're not just like you know fitting roles anymore. They're trying to bring the best of the best, and that's a great feeling to know that and to see that change, because that's a forward change. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anytime, I mean, forward progression is always better than digression, in my
Right.
opinion.
Right.
I always tell people you can't get worse. You can't get worse, but I've seen some people get worse. Trust me,
Right.
it's been crazy. Um, so let's fast forward all the way up into 2021. Ring of Honor, man, the final battle. So I've talked to everyone from Silas Young, LSG, Shane Taylor, like everyone. So I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked them. What were you feeling walking into that building, knowing that this was the last time you guys were going to do a Ring of Honor show, potentially?
Uh, I'm not gonna say potentially. I was gonna say possibly.
Possibly.
Um, it was weird, because we've been doing TV tapings in that's the building we would do our empty arena TV tapings at, uh, when we were in Maryland or whatever. And so we were used to the building, but it was a different feeling because fans were going to be there, and that's only happened like on recent pay-per-views, and then leading up to this, knowing that, like you said, it could possibly be the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view like this. Um, it was emotional. I believe the TV taping before was the most emotional. Like that had like people breaking down and crying and like really like it was very emotional. But I believe we got it all out then. However, Final Battle was still very emotional. It was just, but it was a positive emotion. It was kind of like everybody just really showing love. People going out their way to extend love and talk to people and making sure they knew how they felt about each other. you know um and so much encouragement, and then that feeling that you knew everybody was going to throw it all out there. That's exactly what they did, man. You could see in preparation and even talking to people, like their mindset is that if we're going to go down, we're going to go down swinging
Mm-hmm.
hard you know
I talked to Shane Taylor 2 days after the ladder match. I just sent him a text and said, "You good?" He was like, his response here. I'll quote it verbatim. I'm a lot better than I thought I was gonna be. That's all he said. I said, "Well, I'm glad you're still alive. I'm proud of you." He said, "Thank you very much, man. It means a lot coming from you." Shane's a good dude, and that moment, when, when every black wrestler was in that ring, and you got in the ring with them, and you guys all just, man, I got a little emotional. I'm not gonna lie. It was real. It was a real good feel good moment. And Shane, I've known Shane for a long time. I've known Shane since Texas, and that guy has worked so hard to get to where he is, and he is a firm believer in our culture and working hard to build each other up. And he's always I mean, we joke around all the time, but he's always been very positive. He's a very positive person. And from watching that match with him and Kenny King, man, they beat the crap out of each other. And you can see that from that moment, it was all like everyone was there. I mean, LSG told me like they were that 10-man tag that he did earlier the pre-show. Said everyone in that match was like, "We're going to show up, we're going to show out. If this is it, it's about to be WrestleMania up in here." And I agree. Every match on that card, from top to bottom, was great.
Yeah,
And you
I
had a
really,
bird's eye view. You were right there.
man, I got the best seat in the house, bro. Like, it really feels like like my job is sitting at home watching a big screen TV with my best friend and just talking about it, you
Man,
know. And I think that's the kind of the chemistry Riccaboni and I have up there, man. And to see action that's easy to call, you don't have to search for what's going on. You don't have to make up anything. The emotion is authentic. Uh, because you're riding the wave, man. And when you love pro wrestling and you know the people that are performing, you know they're giving it their all. Um, it's easy to do, man. Not easy like, oh, my job is easy. It's just I'm not searching for emotion. I'm not trying to stir up or conjure anything. I'm just reacting to what I see, and I love to be able to see a product done that well, and be made the conscience of that product, to where people hear Riccaboni and I's voice, and we are the conscience that tell you this is what's going on, this is what you like, this is this, and it, to me, I feel like as a commentator, my job is to tell you what's best, and if you think anything worse, you thought of it on your own. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
And,
Yep,
the conscience is kind of like, you do something and then you do what you weren't supposed to do. And you're like, something told me I shouldn't do that. It's that conscience telling you,
exactly.
and I refuse to be a commentator with a bad conscience. I just put it like that. And so to have that seat, man, to be able to elevate the talent and talk about the talent, man, it was a blessing, bro. It was awesome to see everybody put on the line. What weighed the most is the crowd's emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Like the uncertainty, it gave them a power to like just put it all out there. You know that there's some fans that are reserved and just come with their arms crossed, and they're like, entertain me, and I'll unfold these arms. But they were so eager to be entertained and to enjoy every moment and take every moment in. It made the work so much more fun, and inviting.
I can tell you by watching on Honor Club and watching you from even when the NWA all the way up to TNA, even now, like just, when you and Ian are doing commentary, I can hear the authenticity in you guys' voice. Like you guys are genuinely like excited to
Yeah.
be calling the action, and it's not like I'm not gonna bash any companies like that,
No,
but
I no.
it's not like the WWE when you got some dude in your ear screaming, "Say this, say this, say this." Now, you guys are like, you can tell like this is something that you want to say. You are interested in this. You're not just playing a character. It's like an extension of yourself. You're actually doing it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that right there to me is the authenticity of it is like that for me makes it more enjoyable.
Cool,
You
man.
know, I tell the young
Cool.
guys in the locker room, they always say, "Man, you've been at this a long time. How are you still excited to go out there? How do you convey it to the crowd and make the crowd eat it up so much?" And I said, I just go out there on myself, and people will be able to tell you. Like, and they always say, "Well, how can you come out? How did they know to cheer you or boo you?" And I say, people will tell you the first 30 seconds out the curtain, they're gonna either like you or they're gonna hate you, and it's in the way you present yourself. You can't fake. You can't fake any of that. And when you guys are on commentary, you guys are so. What's what I'm looking for? Real. You can see the realism. Like you guys genuinely enjoy sitting next to each other talking about the wrestling. Like you said, it's like you're sitting on your couch with a big screen TV talking with your best friend.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And
It's
I think
real,
that
man.
conveys well.
Yeah, and the coolest thing about it is the TV that we're watching are with people that we genuinely care about, and like that whole engulfment is pretty dope. It's a family atmosphere, and it's pretty dope.
So when you guys run that town hall, because I know about the town hall phone call you guys do before every show, um, when you guys found out that you guys weren't like that, at the end of the year, Ring of Honor was going on hiatus. It was shutting down. What were your thoughts? Like, what were your feelings at that particular moment when you first heard those words?
It's just like empty, like dead silence. Like what? Like taking it in. Because, if you look hard enough, you can see the writing on the walls. Uh, because you're just trying to add things up like how's this paying for itself? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Type thing. But then there was security as well because like we're owned by like a $1 billion corporation, and so you're just thinking like, well, we're good. Like we're blessed to be able to do this, and the manner they're taking care of us, like the extra protocols they would do with COVID-19, and the extra steps they would do, and the way they took care of us, paid us through the pandemic, and all. You just was thinking like it kind of won you over to them. It won you over to them. It was like, bro, they put it all out there. They put us first. Like we're one a number. We weren't looked at as a number, and they just pushed us away and continued. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? We were looked at as people. And yeah, man, they took care of us. They told us what was going on, told us what to do, what to prepare for, and it walked out just like that. The way they said it. So when this phone call came, it was like you couldn't be mad. It was just like, dang, like wow, like is this really happening? Like you just to really have it happening, it's kind of like this is really happening, isn't it? You know what I mean? And
yeah,
the way they did it, man, it was just they were brokenhearted even delivering it, but they told us first, and life is life, man. Entertainment world is entertainment world. I believe in the comeback. I believe Ring of Honor is gonna come back. No, we just don't know what version. But
yeah.
either way, it's still going to be Ring of Honor. If I'm able to be a part of it, I definitely do it. Um, uh, they're family to me.
You've been a part of Ring of Honor for a very long time, man. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like they're gonna be like, oh yeah, we're gonna. I mean, there have been rumors about Ring of Honor coming back after the um, Super Card of Honor,
Hmm.
and coming back as a super indie. Like no one's under contract, just gonna be indie shows. Um, but like I had Josh Woods, he said he's still defending the ROH Pure title, and Gresham is defending the world title, and the Briscoes are probably going to show up at AEW defend the Ring of Honor tag team titles. So championships are still around. Rhett Titus, the television champion, Roxy's defending the women's championship over Impact or NWA, either or. So with the championship still in play, I mean, to me, I would assume that the company is just going to come back, and Sinclair is a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
So with a company like that, there's no way that I think that they're going to be gone for good. Um, so I mean, I hope that they're not going to be gone for good because like I have a lot of friends that work for Ring of Honor, and I would sure hate for those guys not to be able to provide for their families after the situation.
Yeah.
Plus guys that have dedicated their lives to ROH, like the Briscoes. Those guys have been there since day one.
Yeah. Literally.
Literally, yeah. Like they
First
walked through the
show.
door, like here we go.
Yeah.
Homicide told me some stories about how they came over. Kerry basically told me that he knew that he couldn't keep the company running, and when he sold the company, they kept him on board because he was such a key piece of the business.
Yeah.
And
Heart
you
and
gotta think,
soul, man.
yeah, look at all the stars that came out of Ring of Honor. I mean, if I were to ask you right now for you to give me your Mount Rushmore of ROH, who would that be?
Wow. Wow. CM Punk, Samoa Joe, Briscoe Brothers, AJ Styles.
That's already an impressive group right there.
Yeah. Nigel McGuinness. Roderick Strong.
Man, and all the names you just mentioned right now. all those guys have either become world champions, legends. Like Brian Danielson came from there. He was like one of the very first pure wrestling
Yeah,
champions.
absolutely. Brian Danielson. Did
You
I not
know,
mention him?
uh, Adam
Yeah,
Cole, the Bucks.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, Hangman Adam Page. All of these people, they've all made their mark in Ring of Honor. I've known the Bucks for a very long time. And I remember when the Bucks were backyarders. We're talking about high risk wrestling days back up in Reno Valley. Um, and then they were like, hey, they left PWG. They're like, we can sign at Ring of Honor. I was like to me, that was like, whoa, that's like being signed to the NWA back in the day. For me, it's like, yeah, man, we're working for Ring of Honor, and then they skyrocketed New Japan, and now Ring of Honor's helped them out with the very first All In show, and just such like Ring of Honor has always been um the vine, or should I say the stalk of the tree, the trunk of the tree for every major organization. I mean, think about it. The NWA World Championship was defended at Ring of Honor. Then you got all these guys that became someone because of Ring of Honor. Brian Danielson, Samoa Joe, Homicide, the Briscoes,
Tyler
Adam
Black.
Cole. All these guys, man. Like just like CM Punk is like the biggest star right now in wrestling. The man left for 7 years, and the one thing that a lot of people don't realize, and I picked it up on an interview. I picked up on an interview, and I picked up on his very first promo at AEW. He said, "When I left Ring of Honor, I left wrestling." Like that tells you something right there. And the guy spent like 10 years in WWE. So when he left Ring of Honor is when he stopped being a wrestler and became a sports entertainer.
Yeah, it's facts, man.
Josh Woods talked to me earlier today. He says, "Man, Ring of Honor is the one place he went that made him feel like a wrestler."
Yeah,
You know, so many people, from Brian Malonis to Brian Malonis said Ring of Honor gave him his first big break. Um, Adam Page said that Ring of Honor allowed him to stop being a teacher and to be a professional wrestler. So think about it. You've been a part of this whole like like cavalcade of superstars. Like you've called all their matches, you've been involved with them. How does that make you feel knowing that you played such an integral part in building and molding some of these superstars?
success, man. It's a legacy. Um, it's an empowerment, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing this thing called We Prosper, and basically the mold behind that is I feel that if I encourage people, if I'm part of their life, if I'm in any way assisting them, I'm part of their life, I'm supporting them. When they do good, I do good. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm I'm enjoying their success just as much as they are. You know what I mean? Because I believe in you, because I'm supporting you, because when you make it, we win. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Yep.
that I'm getting anything. It's just that um, I feel that way about people. So when you see um, people that or you've touched or you've had an encounter with or that you have a relationship with do something positive, you're like, man, we did that. Like I'm enjoying that with you. You know what I'm saying? And it happens so much that it makes you feel like a winner. I mean, birds of a feather flock together, right?
True statement.
It's so when you're able to enjoy these victories, um, it's a blessing to be able to see it, and it's an empowerment. It's an empowerment because you're like, man, I was part of something great, something phenomenal. I'm a part of something phenomenal, and I'm in a part of. I've made history. You know, um, People work their whole lives to try to figure out what their dream is or follow their dream, but like I was able to live out my dream, and it played out better than I planned it to.
You know, I'm a firm believer in that. And I'll tell you, I was always the small kid, and someone once told me, "You'll never make it as a pro wrestler." I said, "Okay, you watch." I became the longest reigning NWA Pacific Northwest champion in history. I mean, Roddy Piper, Ric Flair, Kurt Hennig, Brian Adams, Crush, the Grappler. All these guys held that title. And I held it longer than all of them because someone told me I couldn't. The Continental Heavyweight Championship, Jeff Jarrett, Jerry the King Lawler, all those guys held that belt. Someone said I couldn't do it. I did it longer than them too. 5-time NWA Heritage Champion because they said I couldn't do it. And the one person told me, you will never in your life be able to wrestle for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. I wrestled Tim Storm for 33 and a half minutes in Portland, Oregon, in front of my family, my friends, and everyone I know for the NWA World Championship. It became within 1 second of winning the world title. Even in failure, that was probably one of the biggest moments, other than my children being born, the biggest moments in my life. And because of that empowerment, like you said there, I look at it like this. Even though I didn't win, I congratulated Tim, and I respect him more than he'll ever know. For the simple fact that him, James Beard, and at the time Billy Corgan gave me an opportunity that I would never have ever gotten anywhere else. And I pride myself on the simple fact that I believed in myself. And when you believe in yourself, man, there's nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't do. And like you're saying, that's empowerment right there.
Yeah.
So that's a valuable lesson I learned. And to see you living that same lifestyle, we're all at the same table, and you make sure when you're at the same table with someone, everybody eats.
Yeah. And it's great to have that mindset, but to see it working and to see like the victory in it, to be able to enjoy it, man, and to know that like it doesn't have to be that way. This isn't something that you deserve. It's just something you've been allowed.
Yep.
And yeah, it's cool, man.
I always tell people that I named my daughter Grace, and people ask me why I did that. I said because she saved me. Because in the Bible it says grace is something you can't earn. It's something you can't buy, you can't borrow, you can't steal it. It's something God gives you.
Favor.
Exactly. He gives you that unmerited favor. And right then and there, that's it. That is it right there. That's what this whole business, you get in, they say you get in what you put, you get out what you put in. Well, I've watched your career over the years. I've watched guys like Shane Taylor, and I've watched guys that he brought into Shane Taylor Promotions, those young guys that he helped build up. And it's funny, he said this on my podcast. He said, I'm not the leader. I'm a teammate, because there's something that I do that they can't do, and there's things that they do that I can't do. So I wake up every morning like, wow, how am I still here? What can I do to serve them? Bruto Bob Evans, he's another guy. He has this whole motto of what can I do for you? So I've adopted the how can I help you to help me to help you mentality. And that's why I started this podcast. I want to make sure I can help others get bookings, get notoriety, get seen, be able to share their stories in a positive outlet. So that's why I wanted to make sure you were on the show today, because I want to make sure you had an opportunity to tell all the people here that are watching us live, the ones that listen to us on Amazon, iHeartRadio, on Google, on Apple Podcasts, and all the other great places, Spotify, and all the great places that they can listen to us, and all the major outlets like bodyslam.net. That you get an opportunity to let people know what you are all about and how you can help them. So I'm going to give you what I like to call, how can I explain to you, a final thought. So what are your final thoughts on Ring of Honor and where things can go in the future and where the future holds for Caprice Coleman?
Oh, wow. Final thoughts for Ring of Honor is that I'm hopeful in a return. And when I say hopeful, I'm hopefully, and I'm not saying hopefully in the same manner I would use maybe. When I hope fully, which means I fully expect something great to happen. And I'm fully expecting something great to happen with Ring of Honor. But if it doesn't happen, I'm also prepared for that as well. I'm thankful for Ring of Honor. I love them. I wish them the best. And I hope that they continue to do what they're doing. And I hope that they continue to do what they're doing. And I hope that they continue to They've always been honest with me, and I appreciate that. So they will always get my first dibs, you know. Uh, and then as far as the future is Caprice Coleman, um, I want to be part of the sport, man. I can do it all. I think I am the most versatile man in this sport today. I can manage, I can host, I can wrestle, I can produce, I can create, I can train. So book Caprice Coleman. I want to land somewhere where I can use all of my talents. I've been blessed to be in position in this sport for over 25 years to where I had a chance to learn on TV. I've had a chance to learn, on the fly and hone your craft in front of thousands of people, man. And it's something that I love and I have a passion for, And so if I was going to leave a word for the people, it would be follow your dreams and follow them all the way through, see them through, because a lot of times, like your dream, my dream wasn't to be a great commentator. My dream was to be a great wrestler and one day break into WrestleMania, and I really wanted to win an Intercontinental title. You know what I'm saying? Was my thing, but it played out to where I had a great wrestling career, and it transitioned to where I was able to be a broadcaster as well. A color commentator, like the same people like Gorilla Monsoon and guys like this, Jerry the King Lawler, um, Bobby Heenan, guys that would never be forgot because of that role, that may have been forgotten if it was just their ring life. Um, so I uber appreciate the opportunity that, and you really only get that through walking out your dream, walking out to the best of your ability. Because even if you don't hit it, you'll hit something that'll catapult you into the right place. I believe your dream is a seed planted, to point you in the right direction to your destiny. Your dream may not be your destiny, but the seed inside of that dream will give you what you need to be in the right place. So when destiny happens, you get what I'm saying?
Man, that's a good
So
analogy.
that dream is a map to your destiny. But a lot of people think that destiny is that dream. That was just the seed to plant you there. You get what I'm saying? And once you're planted there, if you follow that out, then the rest of life can happen. But you're not even planting your own seed. Y'all gotta be some seed planters out there. You
Man,
gotta plant that seed.
yeah,
You
that's a
gotta
good
follow that
analogy
dream,
too.
bro.
I
Huh?
thought about it. I started out in professional wrestling like in 1994. Right out of high, right. I was still in high school when I decided I wanted to be a wrestler. Here it is, 29 years later, and I'm
How
still
old are you,
doing it.
man?
I'm 47.
Okay, I'm 44.
Yeah, see, we've been around. We've been around a
Yeah,
long
that's what I'm
time.
like. Oh, yeah, yeah, holy, bro. Yeah.
And I wake up every day and I think to myself, man, like I was in a locker room one night, and Pitbull Gary Wolf walks in,
I know
and
him.
the young guys in the locker room, they're like, "Oh, it's Gary Wolf from ECW." Blah blah blah. Gary comes over to me and goes, "Man, Major, you look really good, man. I remember back when you were like 105 pounds, soaking wet kid. Remember what blah blah blah. Remember that one time you worked that one show and Todd gave you a Rolex? Um, Todd Gordon gave me a Rolex as a PO." I was like, "Yeah." I'm like 16 years old with a Rolex from a jewelry store. Like, wow. And he told that story. And when you've been in the business for a long time, you forget, like you forget the crazy stuff from years ago. But he said something to me, and it was like, wow, I remember that. And this kid came up to me and goes, "Man, that's crazy. You've been around a long time." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "How old are you?" I said, "I'm 47." He goes, "Man, I'm 19." And I looked down at my feet. He goes, "Well, what's wrong?" I said, "These boots I'm wearing are older than you."
Mm.
That's when I knew I was old. I was like, "Yeah, it's time to stop. I gotta get out of this." So that was my dream. But I think my destination is what I'm doing right here, right now, because I started doing this podcast thing a little over 2 years ago, and I don't have to be in the ring. I mean, I'm still doing the ring stuff. I still have obligations up until June of 2022. But this podcast is giving me a platform and it's grown like so much. Like I started a podcast on YouTube, and now all of a sudden it's like I'm on 15 YouTube channels. I'm on Twitter and Twitch, and I'm on like major podcast platforms, and now I'm on like audio platforms. And it's like I looked at the analytics one day, and I'm like, someone's watching us in Bangladesh. Like they have TVs in Bangladesh. What? This is the destination. And I think if you just made me realize that. So thank you very much for helping me realize that. Like
Yeah,
you have
man.
no idea what your words, how impactful they were right now.
Cool, man. Cool, cool,
Well,
cool.
let the people know where they can find you on social media,
Yeah.
where you're going to be at next, and how they can get a hold of you.
All right. Find me on social media at Caprice Coleman on Instagram and Twitter. I have a Facebook fan page as well. Read my dose of Coleman. It was like at a dose of Colemanism. You type that in. They also come out on Thursdays. Just kind of like inside my head a little bit because the article I write every week. Um, what's next? Caprice Coleman. I'm working the Indies, man. I got a show Sunday, XWW. I think it's somewhere in North Carolina, near the Fayetteville area, near the Charlotte area. Uh, and then like I'm heavy with AMLs, America's Most Like Wrestling. I'm their champion, and they run shows once a month. Our next show would be I think January 22nd or 30th. But we're doing like war games with a Z.
Yeah, man.
Cage, cage, double cage match and all. That's gonna be exciting.
Is that the
a re-
Mad Dog Center?
yeah. Oh, you looked it up?
No, no, no. I know a little bit about AML. I know a
Yeah,
little bit
okay.
about that.
Yeah,
I got, I
I
got,
think
I
this
got
was at a
people that
high
work
school.
there.
This is at a high school.
Oh, I got people that work there. I know a little bit about
Yeah,
AML.
it's
I
gonna.
ain't,
We
I
just
ain't new to North Carolina.
okay. We finished Wrestle Cave, man. That was super dope. Uh, it's probably the biggest show like in North Carolina, the biggest wrestling event in North
Yeah.
Carolina. Thing to that, and just stay in wrestling, man. Christian Wrestling Federation in Fate, Texas. I'm with
Oh,
them a lot. Uh, I don't want to miss anybody. Uh, I'm not afraid to go anywhere. You know, um, I just want to work, man. Just want to work.
well, hey, if you book a wrestling show out, ladies and gentlemen, you know where to reach this man right here. And I'll tell you, if you don't know, you need to figure it out. This man is an ROH legend right here, Mr. Caprice Coleman. Thank you very much for joining us, man, on this exciting installment of the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. And it's been an honor and a privilege. No pun intended.
Yeah, man. It's cool, man. It's cool. I enjoyed it.
All right, man. Hey, well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. And you can find us at bodyslam.net. That is www.bodyslam.net for all your wrestling needs and all that cool stuff. For your boy, Caprice Coleman, this has been The Franchise. Thank you very much for joining us.